The Broncos and the Bears coming up. Jake Plummer getting ready. The opening kickoff is coming up on Fox. Welcome back to Denver. We check out early scores. Dallas leading Carolina. Eagles over the Saints. Deuce McAllister, his 8th consecutive 100-yard game for New Orleans. Matt Hasselbeck, 4 touchdown passes for the Seahawks as they lead Baltimore 41-24. Lamont Green, 154 yards on the ground for the victorious Packers. Patriots and Texans tied in the 4th. Steelers leading the Browns, and the Jets over the Jaguars. It's a final 13-10. 18 degrees, wind chill of 8, 3 to 6 inches of snow, Brian, here yesterday.
8-degree wind chill, and it's a beautiful day. I mean, it's a Rocky Mountain high. This is, I feel like getting the ski goggles on and heading out to Aspen right now. But I don't mind being here for a couple hours.
Fired up.
Oh yeah, no, this is, you see the Rocky Mountains and they're snow-capped out there, and you come in here and you just go, this is God's country. It's beautiful.
Well,
it's a hard place to play, Ken. It's a tough place to play.
Chicago Bears, who have lost 12 straight on the road, have won the toss for the first time in 10 games. Micah Noor kicking off to Jerry Azuma. Takes it at the 5 for Chicago. Azuma out across the 30 to the 32, 27 yards on the return. Chris Chandler making his 6th start of the season for the Bears. Cordell Stewart started the first 5 games. The men protecting Chandler, Gandy, Edwards, the 2-time Pro Bowler Cruz, Valerial, and Gibson. Anthony Thomas in the backfield. Booker and White, the wideouts. And the tight end is the former Bronco Desmond Clark. Bears start from their own 31-yard line. The pitch to Anthony Thomas. And the A-Train still on his feet out to the 35-yard line. Gain of 4, setting up 2nd down and 6. Broncos with the 2nd-ranked defensive unit in the National Football League. Bertrand Berry, 5th in the AFC with 7 sacks. Wilson, one of the top middle linebackers in the NFL. He's gone to the last 2 Pro Bowls. Herndon and Walls, the corners. Kennedy and Ferguson, the safeties. Broncos also without the suspended defensive tackle Darrell Gardner.
Mike Shanahan, the first time he's ever suspended a player ever.
Play action on 2nd and 6. Chandler's pass incomplete, intended for Marty Booker.
Well, Chris Chandler, you know, starting his 6th game here with the Bears, and the Bears are the 32nd ranked offense in football right now, Kenny, and they've lost 2 games now by 4 points, back-to-back. And the offense is not getting it done. They've got better talent on the field than the last-ranked offense, and it falls really on the shoulders of Chris Chandler to get the ball in the hands of the playmakers, and that means he's got to be accurate today.
3 wide receivers set. Bears have to get to the 41 for a first down. On 3rd and 6, Chandler's pass is caught by Booker. He's close.
Yeah, he's going to be. How are your eyes up here, Kenny? I know the altitude can affect a lot of things.
He's close.
You can leave it at that. Boy, where they spotted it there, he looks short. Well, we got our yellow line there.
The yellow line travels with us everywhere we go.
Computer generated. Everything's computer generated, isn't it, Kenny?
Especially
people can't wake up in the morning.
Yeah, just short.
And it looks like Chicago at 3 and 7, losers of 2 straight, jipped around saying, you know what? Let's see if we can just go get ourselves 4 inches and hold on to the ball. You know, they've only scored 6 points in the opening drive in 10 games. 2 field goals is all they've had. They may try to draw Denver off sides here as well.
4th and inches, 2 tight ends. Thomas and the fullback Pritchett in the backfield. Chandler on the quarterback sneak. So Dick Duran rolling the dice on the opening drive here in Denver, going for it on 4th and inches. And Chandler picks up the first.
Well, they get good movement right at the point. You know, right behind the Pro Bowl center, Olin Kreutz. And you got to do that, though. I mean, Chicago had attempted, what was their 11th 4th down attempt this year? They've made 9 of them. But when you're behind and you're losing and you've got a bad record, you got to take gambles.
3 wide receivers set on 1st down from the 42. Thomas up the middle. Final dump made initially by Donnie Spragan. Gain of 3, setting up 2nd down and 7.
Well, there it is, Kenny. I mean, we've talked about they've been a slow starting team. And, you know, every team always says every week to us, we got to start fast. And Chicago says that every week. They just haven't been able to get that done. Now, a couple things you got to do. You got to convert your 3rd downs. You may have to, you know, take some chances like they just did on 4th down.
Bears have not scored a touchdown in the 1st quarter this season. They've kicked 3 first-quarter field goals, and that has been it over the opening 15 minutes. 2nd down and 7. Here's Thomas. Thought about bouncing it to the outside and then wrapped up by Bertrand Berry. No gain for Thomas. It will be 3rd and 7.
And really, I think the biggest story in Denver is the play of their defense. You know, you talk about Clinton Portis and Rod Smith and Shannon Sharp with Hall of Fame numbers, but this is the #2 ranked defense in the National Football League. And when you know, I mean, even when Denver was winning Super Bowls here, they were never higher than #3. And they're doing it with a lot of free agents, guys that nobody else wanted. You know, guys that were kicked to the curb, and they're getting an opportunity and playing with great enthusiasm.
Bears have to get to the Broncos 48 for a 1st down. Chandler steps up and throws, bobbled and dropped by Des White.
Well, Chandler did what he had to do. He beat the rush, stepped up, and he threw a strike. That ball should have been caught. Watch, I mean, here comes Reggie Hayward there. Chandler fields without taking his eyes off the field. And Chandler, who has not been real accurate the last 2 weeks in those 2 losses, that was a strike. That was a beautiful throw.
So the Bears go for it on 4th and inches, pick up a 1st down, but now send down the punter, Brad Maynard.
Like Lenny Wall's coming right through there.
Bill Levy, our referee this afternoon.
Encroachment, number 55, defense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Now 4th and 2. It had been 4th down and 7. Maynard back at his own 35. Back deep for the Broncos, Deltha O'Neal, who was deactivated last week. Had been a cornerback, now listed as a wide receiver.
The guy that took the spot, Rod Smith, took one back for a touchdown last week.
And O'Neal brought one back 2 weeks ago. Punt lands out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Jake Plummer and the Broncos offense go to work for the first time when we come back. Back in Denver, Jake Plummer, after 6 seasons with the Arizona Cardinals, signed here in Denver. Started the first 5 games, missed the next 4 with injuries, came back last week. 4th in the NFL, Brian, in passer rating.
Well, he's off to the best start of his career, but he's never been in an organization like this with this kind of talent around him.
Broncos begin from their own 22-yard line. Plummer to the air on 1st down, and the pass caught by Shannon Sharp out at the 27-yard line. Gain of 5. Bobby Gray made the tackle, setting up 2nd and 5. Salam with Hamilton, Nayland, Neal, and Lepsis. Clinton Portis, 899 yards on the year. Shannon Sharp caught 3 touchdown passes last week against San Diego and was named the AFC Offensive Player of the Week. Empty backfield for the Broncos on 2nd down and 5. Out of the shotgun. Plummer steps up, takes off, and is close to the 1st down. Brian, you talked about the Bears defense in our open. They are ranked 14th statistically. Daniels, Traylor, Robinson, and Brown, who leads the team in sacks. Urlacher in the middle with the rookie Briggs and the fifth-year linebacker Warwick Holdman. Charles Tillman, second-round draft pick out of Louisiana Lafayette, 3 interceptions his last 4 games. And Bobby Gray starts at strong safety for the injured Mike Green. Plummer did pick up the first down. First carry of the day for Clinton Portis. Portis out to the 37. Gain of 5, lost his helmet. 2nd and 5 coming up.
I look at Jake down there with his hands in the hand warmer. And I don't know if Jake is ever going to look like he's ever shaved. I mean, he always looks like he's just a kid right out of high school. And he said that the cold weather, it sucks. And he's from Boise, Idaho. You think he'd get used to it. He said he doesn't like it, but he likes being in Denver. He really does. And, he said the expectations here are just so much higher here than they were in Arizona. And he likes that because it's pushed him. And he's never worked or studied the game harder than he has had to here.
He said they've demanded a lot more out of me here than I've been used to. Portis, first down and more, out to midfield. Gain of 13 yards before he was finally tackled by Charles Tillman.
Well, there's the guy that makes Jake's job really easy. And I said at the open that this guy is really fast. He's going to hit the hole here. Now, what Clinton does is, if that hole is 2 yards and that's all you're going to get, that's what he's going to get. But when he has the vision and the ability to cut, and he sees an opening, and he sees daylight, I mean, he's got another gear now. He's got a gear that Ferraris have, and there's not many of those guys on the road.
Ed McCaffrey has checked in, having missed the last 4 games. Plummer on first down, got rid of it. And the pass caught by Rod Smith brings it down to the 43-yard line. Gain of 8, tackled by Warwick Holdman.
Now, I tell you, Jake, when he was in Arizona, they were kind of hot and cold with him, but this team is a really good team with Jake. And you can see it. As the starter right now, he's 5-1, and 1 loss was to Kansas City. And, that was Dante Hall and all that kind of magic he was doing back then. They really outplayed Kansas City that day. He also partially separated his shoulder that day. And even if he didn't hurt his foot, he probably still would have missed some games with that shoulder.
2nd down and 2. Portis cutting to the outside. Has another first down at the 40-yard line. Plummer missed 4 games. Steve Berline started the first 2 during that stretch before he became injured. And then Danny Cannell, who is now the backup to Jake Plummer, started the last 2 games Jake missed.
Yeah, and really, the whole team missed him. It wasn't just the offense. It wasn't, the defense missed him. They missed his presence. He's an upbeat guy. And Shannon Sharp told us on Friday that he's the real deal. And he's comparing him, the real deal to what the benchmark here in John Elway is.
Plummer can't find anyone on first down. Now dumps it off to Portis. Talk about improvisation on that play, Brian.
He's done that a couple times in this drive already. And, nothing against Brian Greasy. They paid Brian Greasy a lot of money, and that's a tough situation to try and take over for the king of Denver. John Elway's cars are in every single parking lot in this city. And he's just that big. But what they really missed when they lost John Elway was the ability to create when a play breaks down. His ability to rescue a play. And already twice on this drive, he's been able to do that.
2nd down and 3. Broncos on the move on their opening possession from the Bears 34. And Portis gains just 1. Setting up 3rd down and 2. Alfonso Boone on the tackle.
You look at Clinton Portis there, his ability to move a pile. He's not a big guy, but he's a tough guy. This is a very difficult offense to defend when you have a quarterback that has the movement of Jake Plummer. Because it's really, if you're on the outside, if you're a defensive end or linebacker, you're reading the slant, you're reading the back into the hole, but you're not sure if he has it or if Jake is bootlegging or pulling out. And so you're never really sure on defense when this offense is clicking. There it is.
Plummer out of bounds at the 29. Picks up the first down. Needed 2, he gained 4.
Well, here it is. Here it is, Kenny. Watch this now. Watch Chicago. They're trying to play disciplined defense. But watch the outside. Alex Brown, 96. He thinks that he's got the ball. Now here comes Jake. You're in no man's land. You're always in no man's land when this thing is clicking. And it's really easy, but it's so hard to stop.
This will be the 10th play of the drive for the Broncos from the Bears 29. More play action. Plummer looking for McCaffrey in the end zone. He dropped it.
Watch this fake. I mean, nobody feels worse than Ed McCaffrey in the whole stadium right now. Out for the last month, finally get a chance to get back. But here it is. Here's another ball fake. And watch the separation. I mean, there's nobody around Jake on these play action fakes. I mean, Urlacher isn't sure that he has the ball. Boy, and there's the touch. That's the first time the ball has hit the ground here today on this drive. And it was a perfect throw by Jake.
Broncos call a timeout with just over 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter from Denver. Plummer looks like he's having problems with his communication.
Watch this last play-action pass by Jake Plummer. Watch the separation he gets after the fake to where the defense and offensive line are. He gets 8 yards of separation. A lot of comfort right there, and that's all due to the line selling the run fake and the back carrying it out.
Now a 2nd and 10 from the Bears 29. The penalty markers. Quentin Griffin, rookie out of Oklahoma, gains 4 yards down to the 25.
Looked like Lance Briggs, the rookie from
Offside.
Chicago, was
Number
offside.
55 defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
You know, that Lance Briggs, we talked to him yesterday, and I went to the University of Arizona, where he is just a little antsy, like a ski jumper. You know, up on his toes there, trying to hold it back, couldn't quite get back. See, the Chicago Bears defense, nobody wears long sleeves. You're not allowed. It's a rule in Chicago. I don't care how cold it is. You've got to wear nothing but bare arms. He said, I'm going to at least put some rubber on my elbows to try to keep my arms warm.
Here's Griffin. Griffin inside the 10, still on his feet. Brought down at the 1. Quentin Griffin, the rookie 4th-round draft pick out of Oklahoma, gaining 23 yards.
And the weapons just keep coming. Now, he does exactly what Portis does. He hits the hole, doesn't deviate from it. Now, he's also 5'7", and he's hard to find. And that's why they drafted him in the 4th round, for this type of quickness. And they haven't seen it this year because he had the same break in a foot that Mike Vick had. And so they weren't sure if the quickness was coming back. Shanahan told us on yesterday morning. I'm waiting to see it. Last week he got the most carries he's gotten all year. But I think the more he plays, the more comfortable he's going to get.
Now Plummer calls another timeout. 2nd timeout taken by Jake Plummer on this drive. He cannot hear the plays coming in to his helmet radio.
You know, the Broncos offense right now, their opening drive, got the ball for 7 minutes, 25 seconds. This is the number 2 ranked defense in the National Football League, and one of the reasons why they're not on the field that much.
1st and goal for the Broncos from the 1. Off the play fake. Plummer to the end zone. Rod Smith with his 2nd touchdown reception of the season.
What a drive. What a drive by Denver, and they used all the skills of Jake Plummer. Here's Rod Smith, one of the best route runners ever in the NFL. I mean, R.W. McQuarters can't cover him any better than that, and the throw beat the coverage. The ball hit the ground one time in that drive, and that was by Ed McCaffrey dropping the ball in the end zone. It looked like Friday practice out here.
12 plays, 78 yards. High snap. Jason Elam adds the extra point. The Broncos out to a 7 7-0 lead. Following the 23-yard run by Quentin Griffin, Rod Smith on the receiving end of Jake Plummer's 12th touchdown pass of the year. Denver Broncos score on their opening drive, 12 plays, 78 yards. First time the Bears have allowed a first-half touchdown in the last 5 games.
They haven't seen an offense this good in the last 5 games.
Micah Noor kicking off to Jerry Azuma. Takes it at the 4-yard line. Azuma still on his feet. Across midfield into Broncos territory. Finally tackled at the 45-yard line. A 51-yard return by Azuma. Johnny Rutledge finally brought him down. Terrific field position coming up for the Bears.
That's the kickoff returner, Jerry Azuma. That's a familiar sight up here in Denver. I got to put that on just to walk up a flight of stairs in Denver. The mile-high city against the windy city today. Azuma, the leading kickoff returner in the NFC.
Brought that one back 51 yards. Play action. Chandler's pass caught by the tight end Clark. And the former Bronco brings it down to the 29-yard line. A 16-yard pass play from Chandler to Clark.
Well, I tell you, let's go back to the kickoff return. Azuma, watch the wedge right here. Watch Azuma get right behind it. And then, you know, then he's got strength now. I mean, this was a running back at New Hampshire. Walter Payton Award winner. And so people were asking Dick Duran this past week, you know, we've seen this from Azuma all year. Why not put him on offense? And, you know, he's probably right. Why not take a shot with that type of ability to break tackles and put him on offense?
Stanley Pritchett, the fullback. Pritchett inside the 20, forced out of bounds at the 19. Close to another first down as we check in for the first time with James Brown in Los Angeles. JB.
Hey, Kenny, the Vikings were nursing only a 3-point lead with under 3 minutes to play when Joey Harrington threw 2 picks in the game. The second one there picked off by Brian Williams, returned for the score. Harrington threw 4 picks on a day. Minnesota snaps before game losing streak. Back to Kenny and Brian.
Yeah, JB, I didn't know if Minnesota was ever going to win a game the way that defense was collapsing.
They won their first 6, lost their last 4. Pritchett picked up the first down on the previous play. From the Broncos 19, Chandler looking for David Terrell in the end zone, incomplete. Lions, as a result of that loss to the Vikings, Brian, have now dropped 22 in a row on the road. These are the 3 longest current road losing streak. The Bears have not won on the road in 12 games since early last season in Atlanta.
Yeah, and that's what bad teams do. They don't win on the road. I mean, that's indicative of what bad teams are. Can't find a way to make a play at the end of the game, pull one out. Detroit certainly has had their share of opportunities the last 3 years.
2nd and 10 from the 19. Pass complete to Terrell. Gain of just 4 down to the 15-yard line, setting up 3rd down and 6.
Talked to Chris Chandler yesterday, and he came in with his flip-flops on and his short and his, you know, his Hawaiian t-shirt, and I'm saying, it's a blizzard outside, Chris. He goes, hey, I do this every day. So if it's a blizzard in Chicago, he rolls out of bed, watches 15 minutes of the cartoon channel with his daughter, and then he gets to practice. And he said, look, I'm only outside for 10 seconds. I'm back inside, and we're getting ready for football. So the point is, the guys, even though they're losing and he's struggling, he's relaxed. He said he's still having a great time playing right now.
Empty backfield, 3rd down and 6. Chandler again looking for Terrell. Chandler said he leaves the house. He's outside for about 10 seconds, gets into the car in his t-shirt and shorts, gets to the Bears complex in Lake Forest, Illinois. He's outside for another 10 seconds. He's in the locker room and ready to practice.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of talk about Chris Chandler, Rex Grossman, you know, who should play and all that. And Dick Duran believes that you've got to put your best players on the field and give your team the best chance to win every game. Chris Chandler even said, Rex Grossman, a lot to go through your mind as a rookie, almost like being a freshman at college, trying to get yourself set up.
Paul Ettinger, who has missed his last 3 attempts is perfect from 33 yards out. So the Bears on the board late first quarter. They trail 7-3. Back in Denver, Kenny Albert, Brian Baldinger, Week 12 in the National Football League. Denver Broncos leading the Chicago Bears 7-3. Bears have still not scored a first quarter touchdown. They have 4 field goals in the first quarter all season, 12 points. That has been it. From the 12, Chris Cole on the return for the Broncos. Lost the football, but the Broncos have recovered. Terry making the rounds with the quarterbacks who have ties to the state of Louisiana. There's Portis out of bounds at the 30. He sat down with Jake Delhomme last week, Carolina Panthers quarterback.
Well, you know, in the NFC North, the Vikings looked like they were going to run away with it. They got off to that 6-0 start, but Green Bay, you know, I mean, they're just steady. Beat the 49ers at home today. You know, lost a heartbreaker to Kansas City this year. Lost some close games, but they're right back in the hunt right now. And they still got to play each other one more time.
Did you ever play in a Thanksgiving Day game?
Yeah, you know, I was in Dallas. I was part of that that Thanksgiving Day treat. It was always great because as a player, you play 2 games in 4 days, and then you got 10 days off after that.
10 days to digest after Thanksgiving. Plummer throws it away as he was under pressure from Warwick Holdman.
Said that the speed of the Chicago linebackers, we talked about Briggs and Urlacher, Warwick Holdman now back healthy. He's just going to come on a blitz here. Jake wanted to set up to the right, and the blitz got there before Jake could find his safety valve, Clinton Portis, that time.
Warwick Holdman celebrated his 28th birthday yesterday by traveling with the Bears here to Denver. Landed in the snow. 3rd down and 4. Final minute, first quarter. Here in Denver, Ashley Lalee goes in motion. Movement on the line, penalty markers as Portis spins ahead for a gain of 2. But there is a flag.
This is on the corner, R.W. McQuarters.
Offside. Number 21 defense. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
It's just a sinful penalty, and it's indicative of a team that's 3-7, and why you become 3-7. That was a chance to get off the field and get the ball back to the offense.
Time now for a game break as we send it west once more to JB.
Hey, Kenny, a 17-point lead by Seattle midway through the 4th. Baltimore battled all the way back. This 40-yard field goal by Matt Stover ties it up. They are now into overtime. Hey, Kenny and Brian, Terry Bradshaw says you'll just have to tune in. It might be a bikini he's going to try to get Brett to wear.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it, Terry.
Automatic first down following the McQuarters penalty. Plummer over the middle to a wide open Shannon Sharp. First down in Bears territory at the Chicago 47. 18 yards from Plummer to Sharp.
And watch this play action fake, because I think everybody in the building, including most of the Bears, thought Clinton Portis had this ball. I mean, watch the reaction of the linebackers and the linemen. And the separation again, 6 yards between the Alex Brown and Jake Plummer. And there's Shannon Sharp lying right in the middle of the field for the easy catch.
First quarter has come to an end. Jake Plummer, 1-yard touchdown pass to Rod Smith. Paul Ettinger, 33-yard field goal. 7-3 Broncos. $18-degree afternoon here in Denver. 1 quarter in the books with the Broncos leading the Bears 7-3.
Shannon Sharp got a little bloody nose. You can see the blood there on the towel from that last hit. But those Hall of Fame numbers of his, he'll be out there on the field. He likes playing with Jake.
Everybody out, empty backfield. Again, Plummer under pressure, this time from Lance Briggs.
Talk about Shannon Sharp. We spoke with him on Friday, and you know, last week he broke the all-time tight ends record for number of touchdowns, and the Hall of Fame came talking to him. They said, we want an article of clothing, something that we could put in the hall, because now you're the all-time record holder in all these different categories for tight ends. So he became a pair of red shoes, you know, like a pair of slippers. It's pretty interesting the way it all happened for Shannon Sharp, because he was drafted out of Savannah State as a wide receiver.
Here's Portis on 2nd and 10. And Dan Reeves was the Broncos head coach at the time, and they had all kinds of injuries at the tight end position. So Dan Reeves made Shannon Sharp into a tight end.
Yeah, but he still didn't know the plays. So what would happen is they used to put him in motion all the time. And he would go in motion, and Elway would yell at him what route to run. So, I mean, here comes Shannon coming across the formation, and Elway would just go slant, and he'd run a slant, throw him the ball. He's like, this got pretty good. You know, and now, you know, 14 years later, 13 years later, you know, he's caught more passes, more touchdowns than any tight end that ever played the game, and now he defines the position.
Won 3 Super Bowl rings, 2 with the Broncos, 1 with the Ravens. 3rd down and 6. Plummer under pressure, down he goes. Bobby Gray, the strong safety with the sack, his first of the season.
And you're right about that part of the strong part, because Bobby Gray is a big guy. I mean, he's 215 pounds, and Greg Blash said yesterday, and he's starting because of the injury to Mike Green, that he is our best hitter. He's our best hitter in the secondary. And he just put some wood at time on Jake Plummer.
Only the 12th sack of the season for the Bears. They had 4 last week. For Micah Noor, his first punt the last 2 games. Did not have to punt it all last week in the rout of the Chargers. From the 11, R.W. McQuarters. McQuarters brought down at the 25-yard line by Dwayne Carswell. 42-yard punt, 15 on the return, and 1 bloody nose. Back in Denver, Bears start from their own 25, trailing the Broncos 7-3. 2 tight end set for Chicago. Off the play fake. Chandler throwing it out of bounds, intended for Marty Booker. As we say hello once again to JB.
Kenny and Brian, Adam Vinatieri had his first field goal attempt in overtime blocked. Not the second one here. 28-yarder gives the Patriots a victory. They are 9-2 for the first time ever. 8th consecutive overtime victory. That also a league record. Back to Kenny and Brian.
Brian, did you hear Tom Brady had his house broken into yesterday? They took a TV but left the Super Bowl MVP trophy in the house.
Nice of him. That's nice of him.
Tom said, I guess they did not realize it was my house. He stole a 27-inch television. That was it.
I think Tom Brady's still going to find a way to celebrate being in first place at 9-2 tonight.
Anthony Thomas out to the 38-yard line. Stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker.
You know, if you watched our pregame show today, I mean, I think the lead story was the suspension or the deactivation of Keyshawn Johnson. It went on in Denver here today, this past week, too. They suspended their key free agent on defense this year, Daryl Gardner, who's got no sacks this year. And Mike Shanahan thought he gave him every chance to be a team player, to play with effort, to practice the way the standard has been here in Denver, and he wouldn't. And he had no choice, because he said, at risk was my credibility as a head coach to continue to give the guy a chance, and he wasn't worthy of the chance.
Chandler calls timeout, and when we spoke with some of the Broncos, Al Wilson in particular, their middle linebacker, he said, we don't need any distractions.
Well, yeah, you know, that's what they said. That's what the Tampa Bay Bucs said about Keyshawn Johnson. The fact is, it's hard enough to win in this league when everything is going well and you're really healthy. But when your locker room is divided, or you got players that don't want to do what is demanded of them, and that's what you're talking about with Daryl Gardner, then somebody's got to step in. And more of this has to go on, I think, in the NFL, because it is the ultimate team game. And if you don't want to be a part of the team, you don't want to be a part of the fraternity and the special fraternity, then you got to do something about it. And that's the one veto power that the coach has.
We saw it a couple of weeks ago in Cleveland when the Browns released Kevin Johnson. And then the suspension of Gardner this week, the deactivation of Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah, they paid the guy $5 million, too. And you got to remember, you know, the greatest players that ever played this game, your window, you know, for the number of years you can play is only 7 or 8 years at the most. You don't want to maximize those 7 or 8 years.
3rd down and 1. And Thomas has the first down. So the Bears move the chains early second quarter.
You know, Keyshawn said that he just didn't get along with John Gruden, and that was why somebody had to go. And obviously, John Gruden is the coach, and he helped win a Super Bowl there. He's going to stay, but, you know, Daryl Gardner, he just doesn't like any of the coaches. I mean, he doesn't like the defense coordinator, Larry Coyer, or Keith Millard. He doesn't like the coaches.
He came right out in the newspapers and said it. Criticized Mike Shanahan. Des White on the wide receiver screen, and White breaks free for a first down, forced out of bounds at midfield by Kanoy Kennedy, a gain of 15 yards.
But you know what it's given is an opportunity for a lot of young players and guys that nobody wanted in this league to play. Guys like Mario Fatafehi down there right now and Darius Holland. These guys were both on the street. I mean, nobody wanted them. And they had injuries here in Denver, and Gardner broke his hand at an international house of pancakes. I don't know how you break your hand, you know, in that situation. So
he was upset. He wanted more syrup.
More syrup, right? They're giving these guys a chance to play.
Penalty markers on 1st and 10.
Full start, snap infraction. Number 58, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Here's take a look at just the undrafted free agents here with the Denver Broncos. All these guys, Donnie Spragan, Jashawn Sykes right there, a rookie out of Colorado. Lenny Walls, the tallest corner ever to play in the NFL, 6'5" corner. Kelly Herndon, a two-time NFL Europe player, along with Nick Ferguson. Nick Ferguson went to Europe twice, trying to catch on to a team. Stuck with the Jets for a little bit, had a couple interceptions, and the Broncos picked him up. He just replaced a high-priced draft pick.
Bobbled and dropped by Des White. Setting up 2nd and 15. All those guys you just saw listed were not drafted upon the conclusion of their collegiate careers.
Yeah, and then there's guys that had played in the league, and then, you know, somebody cut them, and somebody said, you know, you're no good, and this is what you call a street free agents. You know, Mario Fatafehi, and you see Johnny Rutledge was out there, and Bertrand Berry was out of football for an entire year. He leads the team in sacks right now, down here at the bottom, number 92.
Put it all together, they're the 2nd-ranked defense in the NFL. Bears keep it on the ground on 2nd and 15. Thomas gains only 2. Kelly Herndon made the tackle. 3rd and 13 coming up.
But what Denver does have is they have 2 cornerstones on defense. They've got Trevor Price and Al Wilson. And these guys are monsters. I mean, they're as good a player at their position as there is in football. And, you know, we're looking at Brian Urlacher and Ray Lewis, and Al Wilson is in that category. And then Trevor Price is the guy that he's a great chess piece. You could play him at tackle. You could play him at end, you know, and he's a monster. Right now, he's playing over right here in the middle.
Price has gone to the last 4 Pro Bowls. Wilson the last 2. 4 penalty flags on 3rd and 13.
You try to give a guy a little bit of props. You know, Trevor Price.
Prior to the snap, neutral zone infraction. Number 93, defense.
How does that happen?
5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
How does that happen? You know, it's like a free throw shooter. You know, he's hit 100 in a row. Oh, yeah? Watch the 100 first. Here he is. And he's really a much more disciplined player than that. But those 2 guys, Al Wilson, the middle linebacker, guy that takes the entire defense out to dinner every Thursday night and picks up the tab. And they talk football on Thursday night. You do things that they had trouble with during the week.
They go over the game plan. Chandler in trouble on 3rd and 8. There he is, Trevor Price. Penalty marker. Chandler lost the football. It's still loose. We have a sack, a penalty flag, and a fumble. All in one.
And a face mask. And Trevor Price caused all of it. All that stuff to happen happened right at the point here. And Trevor's knocks Aaron Gibson out of the way, gets a hold of Chandler and knocked the ball out, forced a fumble there. And now the scrum, the rugby scrum is on.
5-yard face mask.
That's the disruptive force that Trevor Price is.
Back to the line.
There's the face mask. It's a 5-yard variety. You know, there's 2 varieties of face masks. There's the flagrant type, and then there's almost the incidental, accidental that Trevor Price just did.
Remember, it was 3rd and 13. Price's first penalty turned it into 3rd and 8. And now the face mask call on Price makes it 3rd and 3.
Yeah, you know what a great player does at that point right now is says, all right, I've caused this situation. I'm backing this up. Let me do something about it. Right here this time, over the left guard.
From the 48-yard line. Chandler throws, and it's broken up. Donnie Spragan got the handout.
You know, we said a couple things about this defense, Kenny. We saw the offense control the ball in the first quarter, and the defense was rested. The second thing this defense is doing is they're getting off the field on 3rd down. It's just the same type of rush he had before. This time, Aaron Gibson, the biggest man in the uniform in the league, got in the way of him, walled him off pretty good.
Managed punt. Bounced at the 1 and is down inside the 5-yard line. It took a Bears bounce and is down by Brock Williams. 43-yard punt. Perfect placement by Maynard. Mike Shanahan's Broncos leading by a 7-3 score. Denver won their first 4 games, 5 of their first 6, then lost 3 in a row before defeating San Diego last Sunday 37-8. And Portis, good second effort, and then is forced back. Broncos starting from their own 4-yard line, and Ryan Urlacher made the tackle after a 5-yard pickup by Clinton Portis.
Watch how Chicago is trying to defend the bootleg right now and the cutbacks. Watch Lance Briggs come off the outside. His job is to take care of the ball carrier, and then if Plummer pulls that ball out, it comes back. That's what he's going to try and control. So they're going to try and blitz the outside, and oof, man, I tell you what, that's hat to hat, right? And that's just 2 Rams going right at it. I don't think I've ever seen Urlacher ever dinged like that before. He got right down on the curb with Clinton Portis to make that hit. He said he's all right. If you read, I think I got that out of his lips. That's the strength of Portis, turning on a dime, and boom, Urlacher went down to meet him. Look at that. He went limp.
Urlacher replaced by Hunter Hillenmeyer, who was drafted by the Packers this year out of Vanderbilt. Portis out to the 11. Warwick Holdman, the tackle after a gain of just 2, setting up 3rd down and 3.
You know, this offensive line is a good, talented offensive line. It's a blue-collar group. You got a couple of free agents out there. Matt Lepsis was a guy that played over in NFL Europe, along with Ben Hamilton. But what they do best is they secure the line of scrimmage. You won't see a lot of quick penetration. And then their ability to get to the second level, get to the linebacker level, allows Portis to break a lot of runs.
And they all weigh under 300 pounds.
The only line in football with all 5 starters under 300.
3rd down and 2. Portis, 1st down and more. 1 man to beat McQuarters. McQuarters looks to cut down the angle. Portis cuts back the other way and is tackled at the 29-yard line after a 59-yard pickup.
And I just said that when the offensive line can get to the second level and tie up the linebackers, that allows Portis to do it. You got 1 here, you got 2 here, and then Hillenmeyer is tied up. You get 3 guys onto the linebackers. They secure the line of scrimmage, then they tie up the linebackers, and then Portis see that he's disciplined. He hits the hole, the line is up to the second level, and now here comes the afterburners. Here comes the shots. And that was with Urlacher out of the game.
Now Urlacher back in. Portis gains 1 down to the 28. He has 98 yards on the afternoon as we say hello to JB once again.
Hey, Kenny and Brian. Baltimore trailed by 17 midway through the 4th. Stover's 40-yarder tied up at the end of regulation, sending to overtime. That 42-yarder helped Baltimore to victory over Seattle, maintaining Baltimore's lead in the AFC North. Back to Kenny and Brian.
All right, JB, what a comeback by the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, and I tell you, Baltimore staying in first place there in the AFC North.
Quentin Griffin now on the backfield. Off the play fake. Plummer complete to Rod Smith, but he's met immediately by the rookie out of Arizona, Lance Briggs. Gain of just 3. setting up 3rd down and 6.
Yeah. You see Charles Tillman, he blitzed, and Rod Smith fills his void there. Lance Briggs is a talented player. And there has been weeks this year. Now, he had back spasms last week. He got poked in the eye. I mean, he was a mess last week. But there was weeks before that where he was beating Brian Urlacher to every tackle. And he was leading the team in tackles for 2 weeks in a row.
Lallee in motion. 3rd and 6. Broncos have to get to the Bears 19. And Griffin tackled back at the 22-yard line by Jerry Azuma, gain of 3. So Mike Shanahan will send out the field goal unit. So after the 59-yard run by Portis, a good stand by the Bears defense.
Yeah, and they've done a couple things. They've made changes in Chicago. Now they're blitzing Plummer right now regularly, and they're getting there. They're forcing him to throw the ball quicker than he wants to. And then they're coming off the edges and taking away the bootleg right now.
40-yard attempt by Elam. And Elam's kick is wide to the right. No good from 40 yards out. So the Broncos lead over the Bears remains 7-3. 5.5 remaining. 2nd quarter from Denver. Back in Denver, Bears take over at their own 30-yard line following the missed field goal. Jason Elam wide right from 40. Bears trailing the Broncos 7-3. The give to Anthony Thomas on 1st down, and he bursts up the middle for 8 out to the 38-yard line.
Jason Elam's last kick, you know, he's coming in with a groin pull that's been bothering him the last couple weeks in this cold weather and probably never loosened up. And Mike Shanahan, who's from Franklin Park, Illinois, grew up a Bears fan. Unless the Bears weren't going good, then he was a Packers fan.
That's right. Made the transition.
Yeah. His father's been here the last 2 games, Ed Shanahan.
Play action on 2nd and 2. Chandler going deep for Marty Booker.
Yeah, that's a penalty.
There's a flag on Lenny Walls.
And that has been missing from this Bears offense. You want to be out of the cellar of the last ranked offense in football. You got to get it to your wide receivers, and you got to stretch the field. Lenny Walls never looked at the ball until it was too late. He contacted him down the field. It wasn't necessary to put a hand on him. He was in pretty good shape.
A 45-yard penalty.
But what happens, though, Kenny, is you're a defensive back. The ball's in the air a long time. You start to panic a little bit. Rather than just trust your instincts and find the ball, you panic. And you start reaching and grabbing, and that's what happened to Walls.
From the Broncos' 17-yard line, Thomas. And the 8 train gains 4 down to the 13 before he was brought down by Kelly Herndon.
Look, Denver's got the #2 ranked defense in football. We talked about there are a bunch of free agents and street free agents, and Al Wilson's the leader and the heartbeat of that defense, but you've got to make these young corners. And corners a lot of people gave up on. You've got to test them. So Lenny Walls here and Kelly Herndon, you've got to prove to them that you can shut down good receivers like the Bears have, and you got to go to them.
2nd down and 6. Chandler dumps it off to the fullback, Stanley Pritchett, who has the 1st down inside the Broncos' 5-yard line, a gain of 9.
Then we were talking to John Shoup, the offensive coordinator of the Bears, and he said that he was going to roll Chandler out today. And he said the reason why was these 2 linebackers haven't seen a lot of football, and they get twisted up. And a bootleg is one way that they get twisted up. So Chandler at age 38 with 2 stiff legs has gotten outside a couple of times today and made a few good plays.
Chandler 4 years older than offensive coordinator John Shoup. 1st and goal from just inside the 5. Thomas.
Nice
brought down at about the 1.5 by Al Wilson.
That's a good collision. This is the middle linebacker's play now. I mean, you can't get caught up in the soup. You got to stay low. You got to deliver the shoulder and run through him. The legs never stop. That's a good stop by Wilson. But I would expect a little bit more of Anthony Thomas right here, right behind Stanley Pritchett again. Look at the difference from Al Wilson to the next leading tackler on this defense.
Second and goal, off the play fake. Chandler's pass batted down by Donnie Spragan. Second pass he's gotten a hand on today.
Yeah, you know, Donnie Spragan, you know, he went to Stanford. He's a smart guy. You know, and we saw him the other day in the meeting room coming in to watch more tape and had all the books and manuals under his arm. One of the things he was probably studying was goal line defense right here. Did a good job right here of being an athlete and just rejecting that shot.
Now third and goal, Terrence Metcalf, number 60, is checked in as a tight end for the Bears. Thomas. No signal yet.
Nope.
He stopped just short.
Well, this is you know, this is 4 down territory, flat out. I mean, you keep the offense on the field, and you know, Marty Booker, you know, he's like, go for it, and you do. I mean, you got a foot in Denver, mile-high stadium right here. The crowd is going crazy. I mean, this is it. This is the record. They're 3-7. And it stinks and nobody likes it. You got a chance to go take a lead here.
Bears will not have to run a play before the 2-minute warning. So Chandler will head to the sidelines. 4th and goal from the 1-yard line coming up. 7-3 Broncos. Bears on the cusp.
I'll tell you, NFL Sunday, it doesn't get any better. You have the number 2 defense, the number 32 offense, and you got a foot to go. It's like training camp right down there in the trenches. Look at them, they're digging in right now. The fans are digging in. It's a big, just a foot to go. That's all it is. Give it to Anthony Thomas right here.
4th at about a foot. Movement prior to the snap.
Too much tension. Nobody can hold a stance. Oh, man.
Prior to the snap, ball start. Number 60. Offense, 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
That's Terrence Metcalf, who checked in as a tackle eligible.
That's the second horrible penalty by the Bears today. I mean, you got Metcalf over here. He's the extra tight end, and just that little flinch. You know, young kid hasn't been in this type of atmosphere with the noise and the fans, and got a chance for a touchdown right there.
Instead, a 23-yard attempt. Paul Ettinger broke out of his slump with a 33-yard field goal earlier. Ettinger connects from 23, pulling Dick Duran's Bears to within 1. Key play during the drive, the pass interference penalty. Bears gain 45 yards. Coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league. Plus, the Fox Sports ticker will bring you up to the second stats. That's all coming up on the Visa Halftime Report.
Carl Mecklenburg, of course, played on some teams here. Orange Crush.
Chris Cole.
Good linebacker.
Chris Cole on the return out to the 27-yard line. So the Broncos with only 1 timeout. Remember, they were forced to use 2 back in the first quarter. And 1:50 remaining in the half.
Yeah, you know, there's Carl, you know, looking on it. Played at the University of Minnesota, and I was just watching Ohio State, Michigan yesterday. And you know, anytime Ohio State, Michigan is on Saturday, it's a good football weekend. And so a lot of good rivalries in college football, a lot in the NFL today, a lot of things being decided today. And the Broncos, who scored in their opening drive and looked perfect doing it, have struggled since. And you got to give credit to this Bears defense in that time.
Broncos start from the 27. Plummer setting up the screen to Portis. Portis picks up the first down out to the 40. Gain of 13.
Well, that was Philip Daniels that just caught Portis from behind. That tells me that the defensive line of the Bears is hustling. Backtrack and bring him down.
From the 40 on first down. Down at the 43, Portis. Touchdown by Urlacher. 2nd and 7. And a timeout is taken by the Broncos. They use their final timeout with 1:18 remaining in the half.
Was what the Broncos did in the opening drive. I mean, they went right down the field and spread the ball around. There's Rod Smith right there, and Plummer kind of bootlegging out, rescuing a play, getting a first down. And the young rookie Quentin Griffin out of Oklahoma. First place in the BCS right now, and then Jake finding in the back of the end zone Rod Smith for a 1-yard touchdown, but they really haven't done or mustered much since that drive.
Broncos are out of timeouts. 2nd and 7 from their own 43. Ashley Lalee could not bring it in.
That's Charles Tillman over there. That's the rookie who leads this team with 3 interceptions, and he doesn't play like a rookie. He's a long-arm guy. You know, I mean, he can get his hands on people, and then he's physical. They put that right shoulder right in the back of Ashley Lalee. That didn't feel good for any kidneys. But, you know, one of those guys that just plays the game physical. And this defense has improved now. He's had a lot of penalties. But even after the penalties, he comes right back and plays a physical, hands-on approach to the game.
3rd down and 7. Broncos have to get to midfield for a first down. Plummer's pass is batted back. Alex Brown, 2nd-year defensive end out of Florida, got a piece of it.
Well, the Bears have taken the bootleg away from Jake, from blitzing from the outside. They're forcing him to stay in the pocket right now, and he doesn't look quite as comfortable, especially with a big paw right in his face. He said that the Bears defense has continued to improve, and it gets lost because they're 3 and 7 and they're struggling, but that group is going to be really good by the end of the season. A lot of good young players, and their energy that they bring has been a positive force.
Mike Anor punting to R.W. McQuarters. Takes it at the 23. Out to the 34, 11-yard return. Bears have 2 timeouts. For Christmas before Thanksgiving.
Were you like American Idol? You sit there and
I guess I could take the company line, but I haven't seen much of it.
No? Well, you only did 2 hockey games this week and a football game and read 5,000 pages of notes.
Yeah, but one of those hockey games was right here in Denver.
Right. The Avalanche and the Rangers.
Not a hard week of travel. From the 34, Chandler to the outside. And David Terrell reaching for the marker. Bears have both 2 timeouts remaining.
But Chandler doesn't look right. I mean, he got hit in the series before, and he's been dropping that shoulder a little bit. I don't know if he's taking a hit, but he didn't come back to the huddle after that play looking real confident about himself. This is 6 straight starts for Chris. That's a pretty good stretch for a guy that has been beat up a lot in this league.
Bears need to go about 25 yards to get into field goal range. And a nice catch down at the Broncos' 43-yard line for a first down.
That was a good throw.
Marty Booker, and the Bears use one of their 2 remaining timeouts.
That's some catch. That's a chance for Lenny Walser to get that ball out, and Booker wouldn't let him. Caught the ball like on his wing and squeezed it in. Chris Chandler starting his 6th game. He took over for Cordell Stewart. For 5 big free agent quarterbacks in the offseason. There's 2 of them. And Chris just, you know, a little bit more accurate. Moved the team a little bit better. Got off, won a couple of games in a row. Looked like they had some momentum, and then they went to Detroit 3 weeks ago and lost a 12-10 game. A game that really kind of slowed a little bit of momentum that they had building.
Cordell Stewart is the backup today. Rex Grossman, the rookie out of Florida, designated as the 3rd quarterback.
There's Rex right here. Yeah. Nice bundled up. Both Southern guys. Actually, Rex Grossman's from Indianapolis, so he's seen a little bit of this weather. Cordell Stewart from Louisiana played a lot of this weather in Pittsburgh.
Pump fake by Chandler. And now he throws it into the end zone. You know, Rex Grossman is an 8-year-old kid growing up in Bloomington, Indiana, his family had Colts season tickets, and of course you remember Chris Chandler's offensive line back in 1988. Rex Grossman used to go to those games as an 8-year-old. He remembers watching Chris Chandler, Eric Dickerson, and I would assume Brian Baldinger.
We were all there. We're all there in the Hoosier Dome. That's where, I'm sure that's where his passion for the game began. Why not? Had some good teams. Eric Dickerson led the league in rushing a couple of those years.
2nd and 10 from the Broncos 43. Pass caught down at the 36-yard line by the tight end Clark for a gain of 7. Another former Bloomington, Indiana native, Bobby Knight, joining the gang on the pregame show today.
Yeah, of course, him and Bill Parcells coached together at West Point. Along with a guy named Mike Krzyzewski, a Chicago native.
Yes. Chandler throwing it out of bounds on 3rd down and 3. 8 seconds remaining here in this first half. And Dick Duran sends out the field goal unit.
I talked to Paul Edinger before the game. You know, he's coming into today, he'd missed 4 of his last 7 kicks, a little bit of a slump for him. I asked him what his range was out here, and he said, I'm good from 53. Right now, this is a 55-yarder, so we need a little bit more oomph here.
His career-long 54-yard field goal, that was the kick that put the Lions out of the potential playoff spot a couple of years back. So Edinger from 54, it's good. Edinger nails it from 54 yards. There are still 3 seconds remaining. Edinger with his 3rd field goal of the first half, and this one ties his career long. Remember, they did not attempt a 58-yarder at the end of the game last week against St. Louis. Edinger felt that was out of his range, but hits this one from 54 yards.
You know, they are in the mile-high city, and it does do, I don't know what happens to the molecules in air and when it's cold, but the ball goes further. I don't know, the ball's harder, you hit it, it's like hitting, I mean, the ball just sails off, and there they are. I think he got a little bit of a boost up here.
Well, keep in mind, Jason Elam is tied for the NFL record with Tom Dempsey with a 63-yarder against Jacksonville 5 years ago.
And maybe a slump no more. I mean, you know, missed 3 or 4, now he hit all 3 here today. And that wasn't an easy kick. 55 yards, and it was straight as can be. He could have tied a rope from one end to the other, and we're going in one line.
Edinger now 3 for 3 this season from 50 on out. He hit a couple of 50-yarders earlier in the season, breaking out of his slump today in a big way.
Well, you know, yesterday we showed the picture of what this stadium looked like in a blizzard yesterday. And I was talking to former Bronco Bill Romanowski yesterday, and he said, hey, it doesn't snow a lot in Denver. When it snows, the next day it's usually sunny and warm and it all melts. And that's what happened in the field, as good as a result today.
A good scoop from meteorologist Romanowski.
That's it.
Some extracurricular activity as the first half comes to an end. Broncos struck first. Took a 7-0 lead early, but the Bears came back. 3 Edinger field goals. This is what it looked like here just yesterday.
97 yards on the ground by Clinton Portis, but the 3 field goals of Paul Edinger have the Bears in front of the Broncos 9-7, the blonde bomber.
Mark Bulger standing there talking to Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner, quite a guy, encouraging the coach to stay with Bulger last week against the Bears. Said, let him work himself out. And, well, he's worked himself fine here. Roll right, finds Bruce, 14-yard score, 14-0. It is the Rams over the Cardinals. And then Bulger back to Pat. But holy cow, picked off by Ronaldo Hill. James, look at him go, 70 yards for the score. It's 17-10 now. Rams over the Cardinals at the half.
James, oh, man.
JB is James.
Oh, Chiefs have won 10 straight home games, up top comfortably right now. Bengals nursing a 1-point lead over the Chargers. And look at this, the Falcons, they were up 21-0, trying to become the last NFL team to win at home.
Terry Bradshaw visited with Brett Favre this week. Terry Bradshaw, Robert Ferguson says, thanks, Terry, for coming up. My man is ready. 16-yard touchdown reception 10, 14-0 pack. And then back comes Tim Rattay out of Louisiana Tech and hits Terrell Owens 24-yarder, 17-10 pack. And then Rattay makes a mistake. Too late on this ball. You can't throw it out there. I know. I threw a bunch of them out there for a pick by Antoine Edwards. Final 20-10 Green Bay over San Francisco. Detroit, Minnesota, Harrington to Azakim. But Corey Chavis says, thank you very much. 32 yards for the touchdown. Vikings up 17-7. Next series, Joey Harrington again, this time picked off by Brian Williams. Third interception of the game for Williams. Returns at 42 yards. 24-14 Vikings over the line. Bill Parcells got that great defense. Got an offense now clicking in Dallas. Carter out. Rose left. Tight end. Carter to the tight end. Jeff Robinson. 17-10. It's Cowboy. And then Brad Hoover out of the backfield takes in this 1-yard Jake Lum touchdown. Pass at 17 all until Carter hands off to Anderson, who then shovels it to Avion Kazan. 16-yard touchdown. Cowboys go to 8-3, 24-20 over Carolina.
Donovan McNabb, 16-25, 259 yards, touchdowns, no picks in that one. Little love.
Hasselback back. 5-yard touchdown pass to Bobby Ingram. 5 touchdown passes on the day for Hasselback. Seahawks up by 17 points. Ravens battling back. Anthony Wright to Marcus Robinson. 9-yard score. 38. Baltimore 41, Seattle. 4 touchdown receptions for Robinson. 4 seconds left. Stover hits the 40-yarder, sends the game in overtime at 41 all, and then from 42 yards, Matt Stover nails this baby. 44-41, Baltimore Ravens take care of the Seahawks. Steelers, was there any doubt? Play action at the goal line. Mark Bruner, Jimmy, touchdown from 1 yard out, 13-6 Steelers over the Browns. Indianapolis at Buffalo, 4th and goal inside the one. Edgerrin James takes it in, 2-point conversion good, 17-14. Indianapolis over Buffalo. Play action left, rolls right, under a minute to go, 4th and 1. Tom Brady finds Daniel Graham, 4-yard touchdown. We're tied up at 20 all. And then Vinatieri nails this 28-yarder in overtime. Patriots win 23-20 over Houston. Jacksonville and the Jets. Chad Pennington back. Looking good. Lofts it for Santana Moss. Corner of the end zone. 4-yard touchdown. Caps a 12-play, 94-yard drive. 13-10. Jets over Jacksonville.
Coach, I saw you studying those numbers. I know you like what Clinton Portis did in the first half, but what else stood out to you?
Well, the thing that when I think about this Denver team, I think about Darryl Gardner, who got suspended. You know, this is kind of the week of suspensions. And anytime you have a player talk about the head coach and says the little man upstairs is on a power trip, I have a feeling it won't be just a 1-game suspension. I imagine they'll resolve this thing for the rest of the year.
Well, and you're playing at home. You just put, what, 37 points up last week on San Diego. Jake Plummer comes back. He plays exceptionally well. Chicago suddenly has been a team that people don't want to play. And look who they have left on the schedule. This team could be a spoiler. They get Green Bay, they get Minnesota, and they get Kansas City.
I want to ask Jimmy, was Gardner with you in Miami?
Yeah.
And wasn't he your #1 draft choice out of the Bay? And did you not know that he was a kind of a troubled guy when you drafted him?
But we had the foot on the throat.
What I'm getting at, I remember it.
And he went to the Redskins because Dave had a problem with him. He went to the Redskins. He was their outstanding defensive player 1 year. They didn't want to give him the money. So Shanahan gives him $5 million signing bonus to go to Denver.
Could you have coached him?
In a heartbeat.
And how good would we have been,
We would have been good.
That's right.
Continues.
You and me. A lot of Paxil, and that was scary.